Hello.
Hi.
And Happy New Year. This is my granddaughter Sophia. You've met her before. She's helping me today with the lesson of the Magi. Now make sure you watch the Holy Moly video of the Magi. These guys, okay? Make sure you watch that first. And then after the lesson, I might have you go back and watch it a second time, because I'll be honest, I did watch it the second time because I missed some things the first time that they kind of pointed out in the lesson. So you might want to watch it a second time. So, characters of the story. The Magi. Well, we always say the three wise men, right? Well, Magi means wise men, and it actually converts to magician with the Magi. Magician is part of that word. But they were very wise men. And Sophie, do you remember some things that the wise men or the Magi did as their job? Do you remember?
They had to follow the star to get to Jesus.
So some of their jobs were dream interpretation, fortune telling, sorcery, and astrology. And that's what you meant. They had to follow the stars to get to Jesus. They talk about the East. Well, the East could be Persia, Arabia, or Babylon, all representing Gentile wealth and wisdom. So they were in the East. The outsiders whose presence suggests Jesus came for the whole world. And what is that for us? Jesus came for the whole world.
It was like God's gift.
God's gift to us, right? That's what Jesus is. The Bible records 3 gifts in Matthew chapter 2, but does not specify the number of magi. This is interesting because I have my Aunt Florence's beautiful nativity set. And I always thought, boy, it's kind of weird that she has 4. I'm going to show you guys real quick. I brought him to the table here. She has 4 wise men. Can you see them all?
There's one back here hiding, trying to hold up the camel.
Oh, yeah. I have one back here holding up the camel because my camel likes to tip over. So he kind of stands there holding up the camel. I hope you guys can see that. But yeah, my Aunt Florence had 4. And I always thought that was weird. And there, of course, is my Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. Baby Jesus doesn't go in there until Christmas Eve, midnight, or Christmas Day, actually midnight. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting. And I overheard Pastor one day say, they always say 3 kings, but Pastor said something like, yeah, the rumor is there could have been 12. She was right. We looked it up on Google, didn't we? There could have been anywhere from 2 to 12. But Sophie, tell us why they stuck with 3. Can you tell us why?
Because of the 3 gifts.
Right. Because of the 3 gifts, which were?
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Right. Gold representing that he is a king, and frankincense representing the church, and myrrh is a perfume. And that's why in the Holy Moly video, you'll notice that Jesus kind of went like this when he opened up that gift. That's something I went back the second time and I noticed that. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, let's see what else we have for characters. Mary and Joseph. They were warned by an angel to protect Jesus from Herod's jealousy, so escaped to Egypt. And they lived in a home when the Magi visited, not the stable as depicted in the story. That's something I learned new today, too. I thought they were still in the stable, but they weren't. And did I say this part already, that Jesus could have been that old?
2 years old?
Yeah, Jesus could have been 2 years old by the time the Magi got to visit him. So that is interesting as well. We talked about the gifts. Oh, Herod. You guys notice how mean he was. He was ruthless and he reigned over Judea, known for his building projects, including the Second Temple. So he was a king who built things and stuff, but he was not happy. And did you notice in the movie that he was not happy? The one part that they didn't really explain in the movie was he told the Magi that when you find this king, because he didn't know about this baby king, and he was jealous about this baby king, when you find this king, you come back and tell me where he is so I can go and honor this king. But we all know that's really not what he wanted to do, right? But that's another story, and that wasn't depicted in here. And if you know what Herod did, I want you to tell me next time you see me, or have Mom send me a message on Facebook under Mary Lael, or send me an email. Mom has my email. I'm curious to know if you know what Herod did, what declaration he made when he heard about baby Jesus being the king. Okay? All right, holy moly video, some things that I thought were cool. Did you notice the black and white color? Everybody was in black and white. Holy moly does this. I've talked to you guys about this before. Everybody was in black and white except for one character. One character was not in black and white. Sophie, who was that?
Herod.
No. Everybody was in black and white until they got to
the wise men?
The Jesus' home. And who was in color?
Jesus.
Yeah, baby Jesus was in color, right?
I was like, the one that was not like in color.
Right.
Like after they got there.
Right. That's true. So then, as they noticed Jesus, they were kind of, I don't know, they seemed a little perplexed because he was just a regular baby. I think they expected this king, and he was a regular baby, didn't really care for the gifts. I mean, he was sucking on the gold crown that they gave him like a baby would do, because he's a regular baby, right? And then it's when he started touching them and they were playing with him that they turned to color. And even Mary and Joseph turned to color. They were all laughing. They were filled with God's joy. And at the end, they were all in color. And if you notice, when they left the stable, it was Jesus' home, they went kind of the same way, but a different way around Herod's house, temple, castle. They hesitated, but they didn't go. They went on their merry way laughing. So they never stopped by Herod. That's part of that story, which is important too. So I told you about how they were filled with joy. We talked about the Magi, the 3 gifts. Oh, they wanted me to point out the maps. In my curriculum, they said, did you notice the types of maps that the Magi use? One of them I noticed, this is where I had to go back and watch it a second time. One I noticed was the map of the stars, because they are watching all the constellations and how the stars move. And then they found the big star, the Star of Bethlehem, which was amazing. And they knew they had to follow that star. The other map they had was kind of a road map. And they wanted you guys to see with the dashed red line of how they went towards the North Star, how they went down by Herod, how they went to Jesus, and then how they went back up, but they didn't take the same path. That's in the Bible, actually. They did not take the same path. They went around a different way to avoid Herod. Herod wanted them to return. I told you about that. And we talked about the color. All right, so the craft. The craft is kind of cool. It talks about constellations, and that's what the Magi did. They marked the stars. And one of the questions was, when you look in the night sky, do the stars stay in the same spot every time? And Sophie and I were talking about that. They don't. And something Rod and I noticed when we were out in the hot tub at night, so we look at the stars a lot. Sometimes, depending on the season, we will see Mars. You can see it because it's kind of a bright orange, like an orangish red color star. And then this time of year, where our house is located and stuff, we can't see Mars from our hot tub. So that is interesting. And we talked about, well, why do the stars move in the sky? So Sophie and I were talking about, it's not that the stars are moving, it's the Earth's rotation. Just like how we watch the sun come up in the east and settle in the west. It's the same type of thing. The stars come up and they settle and they just go around and around as the Earth is rotating. That's why they change and they move. They move every hour. One time we can go out at 6 o'clock and look at the stars. You can go out like at 10 o'clock and they're in a different spot because they are raising and settling just like the sun does. Now, the thing that they said, though, why did the Star of Bethlehem not move? That was very interesting. And I looked that up, too, on Google, and they said that it stayed for over 70 days. And scientists try to say that it was like, what did they use for that word? Not a rocket. There's a word for it. I can't think of what the word is. But sometimes we get these like Halley's Comet that come certain times, like every 200 years or whatever. They're trying to say it was something like that. But the next time that type of comet came, that would have been similar to the Star of Bethlehem, it was not as glorious, and it was not as big, and it didn't stay as long. So interesting how scientists said it was like a comet, but we know the Christians truly believe that it was the Star of Bethlehem, and it was God's way of leading the shepherds and the Magi to the Christ child, right? Okay, the craft. Sophie was wonderful, and she colored all the Magi for me. You guys can color the Magi any way you want. They're all kind of funny characters again. This guy's kind of the nerdy one, that guy right there. They were kind of funny. They all seemed kind of grouchy, didn't they? When they were trying to find Jesus, they seemed kind of grouchy. But they were good. And then we're supposed to cut out the sides. It was like this for you guys. Yeah, cut on that blue line, so you end up with this. And then you fold it in half, and you put a little slit in there, like that.
Don't cut it all the way.
Don't cut it all the way, right. So you fold it this way, like the hot dog fold, as we call it. This is the hamburger fold. This is the hot dog fold, because it's long, the bun's long. And you just cut through, so it's like that, okay? Then what do we do, Soph? We have to roll it. Work with a partner to roll and tape your telescope. So, I guess your Magi are on the outside. This would be the outside, and we roll it. Want to get that tape over there, sweetie? So your colored pictures will be on the outside, a couple pieces, okay? Yeah, we're working on it with you guys here. I would put like 3, like one there and one in the middle and one on this end. Telescopes help us see the stars better at night. You can see things further away and actually easier, kind of like pinpointing it in. Then, okay, so then you have your slit, and you take your constellation, these guys. Oh, we didn't talk about this. You're supposed to draw on here. Draw a figure. She drew a manger. You can draw a crown, you can draw a star, whatever you want. And then they want you to do a constellation of your item, your drawing. So she did kind of like dot to dot. So that would be her constellation in the night sky. If she were to see that, she would know that that's the manger. Just like this one. Some people can really see this easily. If you really study stars, you'll know. And what is that? Let's see, it's backwards. Oh, Valpicula, which I thought was a horse, but Sophia corrected me. It's a fox. And she loves foxes, so of course.
It's spirit animal.
It's her spirit animal. And then Orion. We've heard of Orion. Some people can find him right away in the night sky. I have a hard time. I have this app on my phone, though, that will tell me. Your dad got me that app about the night sky. I think it's called Star Tracker. You just point your phone, and it shows you all the constellation. It's really cool. And then these are, we have Serpent's Caput, Hercules, and Triangulum, which is a triangle. So you have the serpent one.
Kind of looks like a dragon.
Kind of looks like a snake, kind of. And then Hercules, and then the triangle one. I'm actually going to look for the triangle one with that Star Tracker app that I have.
But do you know what
see if I can find it.
Snake kind of one looks like? A Chinese dragon, like the one that
has
the legs.
Yeah, you're right, it does. And maybe that's why. Yeah. So anyway, they want you to take your thing, your telescope. Is that what they're calling it? A telescope? What are we calling this thing? Yep, we're calling it a telescope. And then you put in your thing. I can get it in there. Like so. And then you look up at a light to see your constellation. Takes a little bit of practice. I'm wondering if we got to fold these. Nope, they don't show it folded, but to me it makes more sense if we folded this like that and then put it in there. Okay, so tell me if that works better. Look up at the light.
A little bit. It needs like to be pushed down more.
Yeah, maybe the cut needs to be made a little bit big. So play with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, just don't want to cut it all the way through or you chop off the top of it. You don't want to do that. So, let's see, we covered all that with you guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. We did. We had way too much to eat. Way fun, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I'm also curious if anyone, when you listened to Mary and Elizabeth, I talked about who was Elizabeth's baby? Who was in her womb that Jesus, when Jesus was in Mary's womb, went to visit Elizabeth, both the babies jumped for joy in their wombs. No one got back to me. I haven't heard anybody tell me who that special person was. So I'm going to wait like maybe till my next lesson and see if anybody emails me or messages me on Facebook. Mary Lael on Facebook. Just message me, befriend me, and then let me know if you know who that is. If you don't, then I'm going to give that answer out, right? Yeah. You know who it is. We talked about it. And also, if you know what Herod did, what declaration did he do? I want to know if you know, because I don't have that lesson, so we won't be covering that. I guess I could tell you guys my next lesson. The next lesson will be what we were doing before the Old Testament type curriculum that we were working on. But just curious to know if you guys know what that is. Anything else you want to say? Hope you guys have a wonderful new year. It's 2023. Packers are on. We're hoping they win. A lot has to happen for them to make the playoffs. A lot of prayers, positive energy. See if they can do it, right? All right, guys. Hope you had a great Christmas. Bye.
Bye.